Welcome back to Face the Nation. I'm John Dickerson. We're back with more from the chairman of the Republican Party, Reince Priebus. Mr. Chairman, I want to ask you about the polls which suggest that a majority of voters agree with Donald Trump, which is if he goes to the convention and he has the most delegates, even if he doesn't have the magic number, that he should get the nomination.
Well, that's why we're working really hard at educating folks as to what the rules are. And most of the time people don't care about the rules of a convention or how nominees are chosen, but there's nothing that's going to change that rule. A majority of delegates is needed, just like it was for Abraham Lincoln in 1860. It's needed today. You have to have a majority. Everything in America is decided on a majority. It's no different than electing a judge, a governor, a president, based on the Electoral College majority, but a majority matters in America, and you have to have a majority, and it is a magic number because it's 50% plus one. That's not going to change.
As part of this education process, though, why does there need to be this second stage? People think, well, the voting took place. That's all that needs to happen. Why is there this second stage where everybody goes to a convention and talks about it one more time?
Well, you know, a long time ago, what used to happen is delegates would just run for office or run for the position within each of the states, and they'd show up at the convention, and they'd vote for whoever they wanted to. But somewhere along the line, John, someone decided that, you know, wouldn't it be great if we expanded each of our party and we had contests and primaries in each of the states, and we would bind the vote for these delegates for one or two ballots, and then after a couple ballots, people could go back to the old days of voting the way they wanted. It's sort of a hybrid of that today, which is we have these contests, the votes happen, the votes bind delegates, the delegates are then chosen in the states, those delegates are bound to the outcome in most cases from those votes in those states, and they go to convention. That's what we're doing here today. It really isn't that complicated, but if you're not familiar with it, it just sounds very different, and that's why we have to be out in front. We've got a few months to try to educate as many people as possible.
There's been a lot of talk this week in Republican circles about if Donald Trump is the nominee, he would have special challenges in the general election with two groups, with women voters and then also with Hispanics. As somebody who cares about the health of the party, how much of a challenge, a special challenge, would Donald Trump be as the party nominee?
Well, look, I mean, every candidate has positives, and every candidate have challenges that you have to overcome in the general election. You know, but the fact is, Donald Trump has also brought in millions of new voters to our party. We're ahead of Democrats on registration. We've had a 70% turnout increase. I mean, some of these things are historic for our party. You look at the Democrats, John, they're in the ditch. And what about Hillary Clinton? Have you seen her numbers with women? I mean, some of this stuff is pretty startling. I mean, I understand that we've got some drama on our side of the aisle that we're going to have to contend with, and we'll be prepared to, like never before. But I think you look at the Democrats, I think they're in for a fiasco, especially if Comey comes in and indicts Hillary Clinton, and they have an open convention, and who knows, I've heard people talking about Joe Biden coming back into the fold. So, look, there is drama, but we're prepared, and we're going to win, and we're going to retake the White House in November.
We'll have to leave it there, Mr. Chairman. Thanks so much for being with us.